Welcome to Dr. Krystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. I am your host, Dr. Krystal, a doctor of East Asian medicine and a holistic transformational coach. Here we will shine light on wisdom keepers, paradigm shifters who inspire us to live thriving, joyful lives. Let's be inspired. Although I am a doctor of East Asian medicine, this podcast is for educational and inspirational purposes only. It does not replace professional medical advice. Please consult a qualified healthcare provider for guidance on your personal health needs. Hello, welcome to Dr. Krystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. I am your host, Dr. Krystal, and today I wanted to come on and share a little bit more about my sacred story. Recently, I was just in Asheville, North Carolina. I go back every month to be a part of my community and be with my family. And I had a very interesting week that's reflective of our times. But before I go into that part of the story, I want to back up and share my beginnings, how I came into the world. And maybe there's parts that could be inspiring. Because the truth is, we all have our own story, right? And our thing that we're healing from, growing from, our edge. And I want everyone to know that no matter where you come from or what your background is, you have the power to change patterns. You have the power to make every day a new day and to start fresh. So with that, I wanted to share that my mom was a senior in high school when she got pregnant, and I was raised by my grandparents until third grade. And my father had just gotten back from Vietnam War. He was addicted to heroin and unable to be my father. And so I was so blessed to have my grandfather Charlie. Oh my gosh, I love him so much. And my grandmother Alma. What they taught me was the power of devotion and prayer. We were raised Catholic. They had 10 children in a one-bedroom shotgun house. My mom was the second youngest. There were 7 boys. So there's lots of stories in that. Like if that house, that one-bedroom shotgun house could speak, those walls, I think it could be interesting. So I lived in that house till third grade. I mean, my mom moved out eventually and had her own place, but I primarily stayed with my grandparents. I have the most amazing memories of my grandfather. They were green before green was trendy. They experienced the Depression, and so they didn't drive. They used public transportation to get around. They grew their own food, and my grandmother knew how to make clothes, and so they knew how to get through hard times, and their way of getting through hard times was prayer. And that's the biggest takeaway I have from them. And, no matter how you pray, whatever religion you come from, whatever your beliefs are, you pray in the way that you know how to pray. And that takes me back to like what I came here to be. I feel like I came here to be a bridge builder, to be a unifier that, I don't subscribe to any religion. I don't over-identify with any political party. I just listen and I learn. And I want to be a sacred space holder that can hold it for all of us so that we can learn and listen from each other. That I don't know everything. I can't I'm human, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I feel like this part of the story I wanted to share is that, here my mom was a teenager. She told me, it was 75, and she was like crying out for love because she was this big family, 7 boys, 3 girls, and she felt like she wasn't seen. And, in the 60 revolution, she got to watch and witness that. And she was, I think, on the free love part of it. And my dad had just came back from Vietnam War, and I just later in life, when I was trying to piece it all together, I've had my own healing journey with therapy. I've just been a seeker for years, just seeking, trying to better myself. Since age 14, I knew if I didn't make a shift and focus on education and bettering myself, that I could go down a path that wouldn't take me out of the patterns of my family. So I decided at a young age that I was going to be different. And so I've been a seeker for a long time. And one of the conclusion that I came to many years ago was, wow, my mom told me she was calling in love. My dad just came back from Vietnam War. That feels significant, And so I feel like a lot of my generation, I feel like my soul answered that cry for love. And so in my highest form, I feel like I did come here to anchor in love, in a frequency of love and compassion and acceptance for all people, and to be a unifier and to have cultural appreciation. So I study a lot of indigenous wisdom. I've sat with elders in the Lakota tribe. I've sat with elders in the Peruvian indigenous cultures. I listen, and then I want to honor. I don't want to culturally appropriate, but I want to honor the wisdom. I'm a doctor of East Asian medicine, and that has deep ancient roots. And so when we listen and learn from other cultures and aren't over identified with our own identity of being right, we're this, and I identify with being Democrat or Republican or Libertarian or Independent or whatever it is. And if we could just pause and just listen from our heart, that's the message that wanted to come through today. And it's coming through because last week in Asheville, I had these events that came up. They were very synchronistic, and I also know it's connected to the astrology, so it's right on par with the alignment of the stars, and what that energy is bringing down on us. And so someone from my past that I haven't spoken to in 15 years decided to reach out, and it really impacted me. It rocked me to my core. I had to pause and go, what do I want to do with this? This is someone that I love so much and who I know is suffering and in a lot of pain. And in my family origin is addiction and alcoholism, and um I had to really sit with it, and I'm in a 12-step recovery program. So of course I reached out to my sponsor, I reached out to my therapist, I reached out to friends, and I prayed about it. And then I was able to send a message, but then that message got shut down. But it opened up something where I had to really sit with, wow, loved ones that are suffering and in addiction and needing support. And what role do I play in that as someone who isn't in addiction and who's on the path of recovery and who holds space for people's healings? How do I interface with that in my own life? And um, I was staying with a friend, and I don't watch the news because it just creates so much anxiety and fear, and I want to be focused on um, rising above that, and holding the hope and the prayer for a better world. And that I kind of have this viewpoint. Again, I'm no expert. This is just my viewpoint, but I have this viewpoint that we're in this evolutionary period, and the snow globe is shooken up and everything is shaking up, and then the things that are no longer serving humanity are falling away, and that I have this faith and hope that on the other side of this chaos is going to be a better world. And I feel like I came in here to hold that promise. um, and I've gone through my own trials and tribulations and have experienced physical abuse, emotional abuse, and what it's like to be in the presence of um, addiction and alcoholism, and how hard that can be. And I've just always had this light, this hope inside my heart that everything is going to be okay. We're going to get on the other side. And so I'm staying at a friend's house, and I just happened to see, oh my God, they might be getting rid of SNAP and food support. And I was like, went upstairs to cook my food, and I just shared it, and I'm thinking, what's going to happen to the people and the children who need that for food? And a friend got really fiery and was like, it was the Democrats who voted for it. And I just stood there like, really? Is that true? And then the other person there was like, then that was AI. That's not true. And then there was just this heated moment that came up, and one of the friends just stormed off down, and it was like, I don't know what their dynamic, but I just was like, oh, wow, this is so interesting. And that friend previously, a couple of days ago, had said, we need to be walking in a constant state of honoponopono. And I really sat with that, like, Yeah, we do. And Ho'oponopono, with all cultural appreciation and the honoring the roots of where this prayer came from, the indigenous original people of Hawaii, Ho'oponopono is this sacred forgiveness prayer. Ho'oponopono, Ho'oponopono, I am sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. And there's this teacher um, who would go in a Hawaiian original teacher would go, and he worked with people in hospitals who were mentally losing it or addicted, and he would pray over their files and they would heal. And there's this beautiful book written about it. I'll make sure the link to the book and the name of this teacher is in the show notes because I'm not remembering at this moment. So Honopono, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Um, and I thought I sat with that, like, because this person from my past reached out, and I was like, and it, when they reached out, it hit this wound, some of my pain came up, and then I remembered the Hawaiian prayer, and then when that incident happened over political things, I was like, yeah, we need to be in a constant state of Ho'oponopono. I am sorry, I love you, please forgive me. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. And I'm in this women's group that we're constantly working on our mindset and listening to thought leaders. And Ho'oponopono was one of the things that we did. And I've been the last year holding that prayer. And when I'm out in the world and something comes up where someone cut me off or was rude to me, I silently to myself will say, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, just to clear the energy. Because if we hold on to resentments and don't take accountability for ourselves and stay in this constant state of victimhood, we're perpetuating suffering. We're not rising above and changing the patterns. So that constant state of Ho'oponopono, I am sorry, I love you, please forgive me, I thank you. I've even envisioned myself in the womb of my mother and saying that to her. I can't imagine what she went through carrying a child in a Catholic family when she was just a senior in high school, and she was physically abused and she physically abused me. And I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. And I say that to all of my family and I say that to all my relatives, and uh, the world. We're all brothers and sisters, right? We're all connected. We all are the same human family. We all have a beating heart. We all have lungs. We all have a stomach, eyes, ears, and I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. And then later in the week, I went to my friend's yoga class and I was like, I just don't feel right. I don't feel like myself. I was irritable. I felt exhausted. There was this exhaustion, and I didn't know what it was. And so I go to my dear, one of my closest friends, Luna Ray. She's going to be on the show soon. I'll go to her yoga class, and she's like, someone wanted to do the loka. So the theme is loka, samasta, suki no, bhavantu. And the whole, and she was working on the lateral body and opening up to possibilities. And it was in that class chanting the loka that I was like, oh, there's this sadness, there's this grief about this person that I love so dearly who reached out to me after 15 years, and I need to sob, I need to get it out. And then her whole class was just about the loka. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka, world, samasta, all together. Sukino, happiness, joy, well-being. Bhavantu, may it be so. So it's a universal prayer for peace and compassion, a wish that every being in every realm experiences happiness, freedom, and the absence of suffering. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, be free. May my own thoughts, words, and actions contribute in some way to bring happiness and freedom to all living beings. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. So until next time, be inspired. Remember your sacred stories. Thank you for joining me on Dr. Krystal's podcast, Inspiring Sacred Stories. If today's episode lifted you up, I'd love if you shared it with a friend, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps more people discover these stories of light and transformation. And if you'd like to work with me more closely, head over to www.drkrystalkinnunen.com. And as a thank you for listening to the show, you'll receive $20 off your first session. Details are also in the show notes. Remember, in this time of rapid change and transformation, you are not alone. You are part of a greater shift, and your inspired life matters. Until next time, let's be inspired.